In a world where life is filled with confusion, pressure, fear, and a broken dream, you can succeed. And now, insights for positive living. Now, with today's message, Dr. Handel Leslie.
Welcome to Insights for Positive Living. It's great that you've taken the time to tune in. I would like to talk about understanding the seasons of life. Life is a process. And when we think of life, we think of the different facets of life. We think of life as a journey. Oftentimes, when we look at life, we see it through the eyes of our experiences. We see it possibly through the eyes of our challenges. Sometimes we see it through the eyes of that which is uplifting, that which is dynamic, that which is positive, or we may see life through the negative side. But we must always view life as a process. Now, Ecclesiastes 3:11 says that he has made everything beautiful in his time. Now, there is a perfect timing for everything that transpires in your life. There is a divine order to every aspect of your life. Your life is not a random occurrence. It is not something that happens out of the blue. Now, someone says that the way my life is, there is no order to my life. Let me say that order begins with our thoughts. Order begins in the mind. What we experience in our outer world begins with what we are believing in our inner world. Now, faith is one of the most dynamic forces in life. It is that which makes life orderly. Without the force of faith, we live lives that have no meaning. There is no synchronizing force that can keep us on the path if we are detached from the force of faith. Now, what is faith? Faith is our connecting link to God. It is that which brings us on the path to the possibilities of life. Now, we can believe that life is a process of impossibility, or we can believe that life is a process of possibility. To believe that life is a process of impossibility is to live in a negative world detached from faith. If we believe that life is a series of possibilities, then we believe that everything we attempt in life has a purpose to it, has a plan to it, and there are divine results that are connected to everything that we attempt in life. It's not every time that we attempt something that it might work out the way we feel or the way we think that it should work out. But hear this, every time we make a step in the right direction, we are coming closer to the possibilities of what we desire in life. And the ability to step out of the world of uncertainty and to step into the world of certainty, that is what is called faith. Faith does not have to see the results before it believes. Faith does not have to know in the natural that something exists. It believes. It's a believing force. It's a believing force that is exercised through your life. It's a believing force that tells you that even when there seems to be ugliness, there is beauty in the midst of that ugliness. It's that believing force that tells you that there is the right to rise even when it seems that you are grounded. The seasons of life demands perception. With faith, there is perception. How do you perceive life? You know, it is not what life offers us. It is how we perceive what life offers us. Our perception has a lot to do with our response to life. One person may see darkness, another may perceive light in the midst of the darkness. One person may look in the sky and he may perceive stars within the midst of the dark. How you perceive your life will determine how your life will eventually be in your future. As you travel the journey of life, understand this, that you have the power of choice. You have the power of choice. And with that power of choice, you have the right to perceive things. Now you see, there is what is termed spiritual perception. And you see, with spiritual perception, you are not controlled by what you see on a physical level. Yes, the physical exists, but it is not the controlling factor of your life. Yes, in the world of the physical, there are what is called challenges. There are challenges on every side. There are difficulties, or what some people will term problems. If you will listen to some people as they talk, most of the time the things they talk about are their problems. It seems like every statement is attached to a problem. And every statement, when it is attached to a problem, it produces a symbol of impossibility. It reveals a world of I can't, I am not able, I am inadequate, I do not have the will or the right to become, because that is the world of the impossible. You see, the world of the impossible perceives things on the level of the impossible. But then on the other side, the world of the positive or the world of possibility perceives things that are possible, that it can be done. I have the will to overcome. There may be a challenge in your life today. There may be something that you have struggled to overcome. And it may seem as if you are in a rut. You are in a stagnated position in your life. It seems maybe if there is an addiction or a habit that seems as if it can never be broken, and then the mindset of impossibility creeps in. But in the midst of that, you have to come to the place of possibility and say to yourself, it is possible. It is possible to whip this thing. It is possible to overcome this. It is possible to come on top. You have to know that in the moments of even discouragement, there is the seed of encouragement within it. And when it seems as if you are not able, you should not focus on your inability, but you should focus on the ability that is within you. There is an inherent ability within you. The inherent ability to succeed. The inherent ability to overcome challenges, to overcome hurts, to overcome the difficulties of life, to overcome the setbacks of life, to move on course, to become dynamic at what you do. Being born to win is that inherent force that is within you to win. Understand this, that you are more than a conqueror. Paul had this to say in Romans 8:37, he says, in all that we face in life, we are more than conquerors. Of course, there are moments in your life and in my life when we do not feel as if we are more than conquerors, but we must reflect on that inherent ability that we are born to conquer, that we are born to overcome. And when those seasons of discouragement comes to us, we must reflect on the power that is within us, the power to rise, the power to go ahead, the power to make a difference in our world, the power to create impact where we are. Whenever we feel as if we are at the lowest point in our lives, we must always remember that there is a greater power within us. And that greater power is that which gives us the incentive to move ahead, the incentive to dream dreams, the incentive to envision our future glorious, the incentive to make plans for a better tomorrow, the incentive to imagine that we can become whatever we were created to become. You see, in those low moments of life, we must always remember that life is a process. You are not always at a high point in life, and you are not always at a low point in life. You must use the low points in life as a stepping stone to the high points in life. The low points in life could be termed as the winter season of our lives. In America, in Europe, there are winter seasons. And the winter season is the cold season of life. It is when the trees shed their leaves. And, things seem not to be the way we want them to be. It is that moment and time in life where things are not going the way we planned them. And you see, when we look at our lives, and we see our lives as barren, we see our lives as unfruitful, we see our lives not making progress, and we center our attention on that moment in life, it is that point that leads us to the place of discouragement. We lose focus when we center on the winter periods of our lives. But let me say that the winter periods of our lives prepare us for something better. Whenever it seems that things are not working out the way you have planned, and you struggle to make things happen, and it seems that there is no progress, there is no impact, always remember that God has a divine plan for everything that happens in your life. When you step out of the world of impossibility and you step into the world of possibility, you come to the place of understanding that your world is a world that is designed for progress, that your world is a world that is designed for upliftment, that your world is a world that is designed for victory. Remember this, God has created a glorious world, but until you step into that glorious world by the power of faith, the power of belief, you remain at the low place in life. There is a high place for you. Why not embrace it? Why not go for it? Why not become the best? I trust that something I've said today has encouraged you. And until our next telecast, remember these words, that your destiny is not left to chance. It is a matter of choice. You can choose your future, and your best days are before you. They are not behind you.
natural